What's going on, you guys? It's Calvin, the FPL Penguin. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing good. Back once again with another guest stream. If you were here earlier watching with me and Chris and Gabe from Net That Hall. Hello again. And this evening, I've got more guests all the way from Juiceland, FPL Juice. We have got the TikTok bus stop legend, which is Ash. And we've also got from above the average, we've got Adam as well. And we've also got FPL Doctore. Chaps, how are we all doing?
Yeah, wicked, mate. All good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. And great to have you guys on, doing another guest stream. So I thought we'd just kick things off, tell everybody what we're doing. We'll go through a quick intro, get to know everyone a bit more better, the guests, and then go through people's draft teams like we did earlier like I did with Chris and Gabe. And any questions from you guys, if we have time, go about 40-45 minutes this stream. And so guys, we'll start off with do a quick intro. Ash, FPL Juice, you and Nick, how did it all come together? FPL Juice, tell us.
FPL Juice is the brainchild of me, and I brought Nick along for the ride. That's the truth. All right, don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Me and Nick were working together at BMW as car salesmen. We're the stereotypical salespeople. Just like that, all the time we were playing FPL, and that was all we talked about. And then one day, one of us said to the other, "Do you want to start a podcast?" And then it was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. But originally the thinking was it was going to be an audio podcast, and then one thing led to another. Before you know it, we're in the studio with producer James, who obviously is like the background and the brains behind the operation of the show. And next thing you know, we're recording like a live stream every single week to our audience. So it kind of happened very, very quick. And now it's become this sort of cult sensation, if you like, with all 3 watchers every week. It's fantastic. We got a full studio. We have guest pundits in every week in the studio with us. We get special guests on every week, joining from all around the world. We've had guests from we had USA last week and Australia, and some of the big names within the community, like FPL Andy's been on, and Focal, and FPL Mate. It's been amazing, and we always wanted to have that vision of it being like a TV show, but for FPL, almost like the Soccer AM for FPL. And so with it, we bring a lot of entertainment, a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, and of course, at the centre is FPL.
Nice. It's a great channel, FPL Juice. Do check it out, guys, on YouTube. Ash, Nick, and James, absolute legends. Great fun, great banter you can find on that channel. Do check it out. Quickly move on to Adam, above average FPL. I love the pods, absolute legends. Adam, tell us, you and Baker, how did it all happen? How did it above average FPL? How did it come to what it is now?
So, well, first of all, I just want to say to Ash that like Juice is such a refreshing concept. I mean, just for so many people just sitting there listening, like us, like we're just sitting in here in rooms doing this, that, and the other. To get in the studio is pretty cool. To be honest, I don't know how you guys do it, but I do enjoy watching them when I get the time to do so. Of course, in terms of us, I mean, so ours was sort of born out of lockdown. We're kind of in our 3rd year now, and we've done what we were doing during lockdown when like Project Restart happened. We were watching football on Zoom. There was about 5 or 6 of us just watching Tottenham, basically. And then me and Baker, we were talking a bit about FPL, but then there's me and Baker just on WhatsApp behind it, just talking about it a bit more seriously. And then we just sort of decided that should we just record something and see what happens? And we just chucked it out to like 50 odd people a week or whatever. And it was, it was fine. And then we got to know a few more people in the community, had a lot of help from people and stuff. And, we've grown pretty organically, and it's been pretty cool. I mean, we sort of developed and evolved to YouTube kind of the start of this year, properly, I'd say, when we had that bonus points pod. And it's gone strength to strength. I mean, and I'm going to say exactly the same as what Mariner said earlier. We're so close to 2K subscribers on YouTube. I think we're about level with Net That Hall. So if you want to get us there first, that would be great. The haulers are good, but are great guys. But yeah, we're close to that milestone as well. So we're looking for that if we can very soon.
Yeah, do check out Above the Average FPL. Adam and Baker, top guys. Both Spurs fans, great pods. Really enjoy listening to them on my daily walk when I go out. Really great listen. And of course, Planet FPL, FPL Juice, so many great pods out there. Of course, Adam, thank you. Doc from FPL Fantasy, American FPL, your partner in crime. Tell us about yourself, mate.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here, along two absolute legends in the community. We started our channel just 6 months ago, so they are veterans comparing to us. Shout out Joe, my co-host on FPL Fantasy. We started the channel about 6 months ago. We were interacting on Twitter, Joe and I, some banter, we love our GIF, whatever you want to call it. And we thought, okay, we might as well just record one episode per week, put it out on YouTube, and whoever watches. We're up to 180 subscribers, something around that area. But we just do it for the fun of it. I've been playing FPL for 15 years. This is going to be my 16th season. So I thought I might as well just share some of my knowledge online and see where it goes. So it's just we're doing it once a week, a Thursday or Friday schedule. Every once in a while, we have just this bonus episode. We are free, and I think I put my draft out a couple of days ago just because I had some free time.
Awesome. Yeah, do check out FPL Fantasy. Top channel. Was on it only about 2 weeks ago. Absolutely over the moon to be invited on it, and it was great to be on talking to you too. But yeah, we'll move on now. Great, nice little intro from all three of you. Something new I want to introduce with these guest streams and get to know my guests a little more better, and for you guys to know them a bit more better as well. But yeah, so we're going to move on now. We get on the screen. We're going to start off with Doc's draft. We're going to start off with the drafts now. So Doc, tell us, what's your plans going into game week 1? What are your plans at the minute? Tell us what's going on.
I'm very happy with this draft. I mean, I'm very unhappy with this draft because I have 1.5 million left in the bank. I just can't find a way to spend those. It's absolutely crazy because I'm very happy. This is the draft. This is the draft, but it gives me the flexibility that I was looking at. I've tinkered a lot, and I just kind of tried to build a spine first. So what I did is put a 4.5 goalkeeper, regardless who's going to be at the end, but it's probably going to be Raya. And then I just wanted Cancelo, Alexander-Arnold, James in defense. I wanted Luis Diaz the moment that Jota's injury news came out. Salah, of course, and then either Haaland or Kane. That was my 50-50 decision. And then I just filled the team and I tinker around this kind of what I usually call on our channel a spine. And I found kind of this combination. The reason there is 1.5 million in the bank, because Raya can be any goalkeeper at any point if I want to, regardless of having a wild card or no. Dyer can become any defender. So there is this flexibility. Neto can become the midfielders that might come up, like Sancho, like Rashford, the Manchester United boys. Martinelli can become them, and mainly Watkins can become Jesus. One of the reasons I do not have Jesus in this draft is I'm not sure how his minutes will be. Yes, they bought him for a very expensive amount, but I think the 2 fixtures for Watkins at the beginning kind of warrants having Watkins and seeing if Jesus will rotate with Saka, will rotate maybe with Nketiah. Nketiah just got the number 14 and he scored, like, I believe 5 goals in preseason and 3 assists. Everybody's talking about Jesus. People are forgetting Nketiah. So kind of this is where my thinking is. I never leave 1.5 million in the bank, so I don't think I'll start game week 1 with this team. I'll find a way to spend the money. I like to leave 0.5 to give me this flexibility, but I do not see an upgrade that I really like.
Just before we get the lads' thoughts, Doc, could you hear Ash?
Yes, after we actually started streaming, I was able to hear Ash. Yes,
you could hear. That's good. Just making sure.
I don't know if that is a good thing or not. I don't know. We'll find out.
Ash, do you want to give your quick thoughts on Doc's team? What? Any questions?
Yeah, look, Dyer's interesting. I get why he's there. He's probably going to be. He's probably going to be the mainstay at the back there. So if you're looking for clean sheets from Tottenham, was he 5 mil? I get it, but if you've got 1.5 in the bank, I'd be looking to upgrade either Dyer or Watkins, to be honest. Rest of the team looks fantastic. I think what we're going to find with a lot of these teams is a lot of them are going to be template, and there's going to be a one, maybe two differentials. With this particular team, Dyer is definitely one that I've not seen in any drafts. I've not seen him in one single draft, because I suppose most people 0.5 more, they're going to go and take a punt on Perisic. And I know a lot of people are probably waiting to see what happens with Jed Spence at 4-5, because if Jed Spence starts popping off, you could make Dyer Jed Spence and have 2 mil in the bank. But it's 2 mil in the bank you could spend, elsewhere. Even on the bench, because Greenwood, I don't know about Greenwood's minutes from Leeds. Maybe a playing striker might be a good idea. That's something I'm struggling with at the moment, to be honest. And then, Watkins, I like the fixtures. I think the Villa fixtures are great. And I do think Watkins is going to be leading the line for Villa this season. I just want to see. I need more information on Villa. I want to know how they're going to be lining up. I think they're going to go 4-3-3 with the Coutinho, Watkins, and Bailey front three, which does look appealing. But I can't see past Jesus at the moment with Arsenal in the form that they've been in, with him coming with his price tag, with the talent that he's got, and that big streak of fixtures they've got. Jesus for me, it's impossible to ignore. But don't get me wrong, I'm not like saying it's a dead team or anything. What I'm saying is I like the fact that you've gone for something a bit differential, and you never know, man. It's FPL. These things can always work out.
Adam, you're the big Spurs fan. We want to talk about, like I mentioned to you for the last few days, your beloved Spurs. What do you think of Dyer? No Kane and Son either. What's your thoughts on Doc's team and Spurs in general for going into the new season?
I mean, if we're going to go deep into Spurs a little bit later, then we can leave that until a little bit later if you want. But I mean, Dyer, it's an interesting pick. I mean, Ash is right. I mean, most people will take that 1.5 million and just chuck it into Perisic straight away. I think that's probably the sensible choice. But the thing we've got this season is we've got a new set piece coach, and he has been involved in the English Football League before, with Brentford, with Leeds, I think, for a little bit. He was with Italy for Euro 2020. And what that means is that we will improve at set pieces. So whether that be, I mean, that could be Perisic or Dyer, but I think there's probably a better avenue to goals for Dyer this season than there has been in the past. I don't like not having Kane or Son. I mean, there's obviously team bias there, but I really struggle to look at those opening fixtures and saying Southampton, an unsure Chelsea, and then who have we got after that? Wolves and Forest. I mean, I can see us scoring 3 or more goals in 2 at least of those games, and we know that Tottenham's returns are quite focused on Kane and Son. Yeah, Kulusevski's come in and contributed. Perisic is going to get a little piece of it, but it's still going to be Kane and Son. And I think I was saying to someone yesterday that Tottenham will probably end up attacking like a 4 with Kane and Son in sort of the middle and Perisic left and Kulusevski on the right. The rest of it, absolutely fine. I can't get Diaz into mine. You'll see that. I've got a little thing on Neto. He's 5.5. That's the annoying thing is he's 5.5. He's so cheap. It's almost a waste of time arguing about it. But Wolves' attack is statistically measurably worse when Jimenez doesn't play for them and they don't have that key focal number 9. And so I just can't see them scoring many goals. And if they don't score goals, then he doesn't get points. So what's the point, essentially? But, look, Cancelo, Haaland, obviously great picks. Haaland could go nuclear this season, particularly early on. Watkins is interesting. Bit of fun there. Villa have got some good fixtures at the start. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think that's quite a nice balanced team, to be fair. And I'm not fussed about the bench. I don't think you really need to care about the bench. It's going to be like 5-6 weeks max, and then you're going to be moving on to something else. So, yeah, just leave as little money as possible down there. But actually spend some on your team. Get the rest of that money into your team.
I'll just finish off with my thoughts on Doc's draft. No Kane, Son. That's a big one there. Watkins, I think is decent. I had Watkins when the game first updated for the first 2 weeks. I like the first 3 games: Bournemouth, Everton, Crystal Palace. It's going to be interesting to see how Villa do. It's a good punt. I know a lot of people looking at Bailey for 5 million. Some people might have cash instead, or Luca Dean in the team takes corners. 4 assists last season. yeah, it's a decent team, nice team. But I think I'd really think you should maybe. I don't think it's essential. Okay, I maybe look at Kane or something like that or Son, because I just feel like they're really going to go out Southampton. But it's a tough one, and the Hayes is not in there as well.
Jesus is the big one, actually.
Big
Looking
one.
at it again,
60% over 60.
It's like it's killing me saying it as a Spurs fan, but Jesus, it's not just the ownership, right? It's not just the ownership. I think that he's improved. Like they've replaced Lacazette with Jesus. They've improved that setup of that team ridiculously, and that he's going to bring more out of players like Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. He's going to bring more out of them. He's going to create more space for them, and he's going to be looking for goals as well. So he's going to improve the players around him, and then he's going to score. He's going to look to score himself. So, and that's what he's been saying when he's arrived. Yes, his preseason has been good. I mean, I'm not going to read too much into that because bar a defenseless Chelsea, they haven't really played anyone. But I think he has the potential to go well, particularly in the early part of the season.
Cool. Doc, thank you for sharing your draft on here. We'll move on now to. Should we do it? We'll do Ash. We'll go straight to Ash. Where's Ash?
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, let's go straight for it. Can you hear him okay, Doc? Still hear Ash okay?
Yeah, I can hear him perfectly. Yeah.
That's great. Right, Ash, go for your team. What's happening?
Yes.
What's your plans?
Yes, mate. So this has changed slightly since I sent this to you. So the only real change actually was just the goalkeeper situation. But let me just talk through this one and I'll explain why I've changed it. So at the moment I've got Mendy in goal. Seems to be the best value keeper. Top 4 goalkeeper at 5 mil. Seems like a no-brainer. I think he's the highest owned as well. Chelsea notorious for keeping clean sheets last season up to that point when it all just kind of went a bit funny. But hoping they can rediscover that. I was thinking behind him. Trent, essential. Cancelo, essential. Trippier, I think is a tasty little one, At 5 mil, he's going to be on set pieces. He's going to be on free kicks. As far as I'm aware, he's going to be the captain of the club because Jamal Lascelles, although he's the club captain, he's not going to be on the pitch much. So I feel like Trippier is leading this Newcastle revolution, and I think he's going to be very, very important. The early fixtures do look good as well. My decision was between him and Cash for that position. I'm still not 100%, but at the moment, I'm leaning much more towards Trippier. And then Chilwell, I've got in there as well. That was James, but I just don't know. Chelsea have been a little bit funny pre-season. Obviously, they've got the situation with the defence and they're trying to rebuild it. And I don't know. I've got this feeling that Reece James is going to end up playing more central than he is right wing back. And that really puts me off him. Whereas Chilwell, with all these rumours of Alonso going anyway, I feel like he's more nailed to play in a wing back position for Chelsea. So I've gone down the Chilwell. Oh, and also at the start of last season, he went off like a rocket. Like he was on a madness. He was just doing major bits. And I can see him hopefully continuing that form. So that's the reason why. And he's a bit of a differential for me as well. So, yeah, Chilwell's in there. Salah, essential, and probably going to be captain first game week. Salah is Salah, and it is what it is. He's the best player in the game and is a consistent performer every single season. I've got Leon Bailey in there at the moment, 5 mil. Touched on him briefly before with Doc's team. So for 5 mil, I think he offers a lot. It could be a starting forward for Villa with a really good early run of fixtures as well. And I think Gerrard, he's looked good. I think he picked up a goal and assist against United in pre-season. And Gerrard's come out with some really positive comments about him. So I'm very, very confident that he will be starting for Villa. And I don't know, I just feel he's a bit more. I totally agree with Adam's point on Neto. I can't get excited about Neto. I don't see the appeal personally. I'm not going to sort of totally dismiss Neto, but I want to wait and see what happens. But notoriously, Wolves do not score goals, so I'd rather save the money, get Bailey in, who I feel is more of a, I don't know, just more of a sexy pick. And then I've got these little gems who I think are going to absolutely go off this season. Jaden Sancho, 7.5 for Man United. Unbelievable footballer. Ten Hag seems to have been getting the best out of him in pre-season. I think he started 3 out of 4, maybe even 4 games in pre-season. He scored about 3 goals. He's getting involved in everything that Man United are doing positive. And I think he's going to be less likely to be rotated than Rashford is. I feel like Sancho is going to be that sort of Anthony player that Ten Hag had at Ajax, that dynamic one that bursts forward and creates chances and gets goals too. Grealish, this is this guy's time to shine. Now, you'll see from the strike force, I've got Kane and Jesus and no Haaland. So the reason why I've gone Grealish is I want cover from Man City. Cancelo is probably the most nailed outfield player at City. Cover. Grealish, he has to go off. And he's at that price point at 7 mil. Well, I don't mind taking the punt, man. Like, let's go for it. Let's see what we can do with 7 mil Grealish. Let's go. Sterling's gone. Left wing position is available. Left forward, whatever you want to call it, is available. He needs to be coming in as the 100 mil man and absolutely smashing that, just nailing that position. Picked up an assist in pre-season for Haaland. So I can imagine them two linking up quite well. And that's the reason why I'm going to go him. And up front, I've been stuck on these two since day dot. Kane, unbelievable, unmistakable. You know he's certified. And this is one of the reasons why I picked him over Haaland as well. He's nailed. He's on pens. The team just don't function well without him. And so that's the reason why I've gone with him. He's proven and he scores goals. And then Jesus, I've just been very, very impressed by the way he has set Arsenal alight this pre-season. He's a man with a point to prove. And I think this is the season that he's going to look to prove that. He looks hungry and he's an actual finisher. So I can't get off these two as a strike force. Bench is cheapness. Nico, obviously, Andreas, obviously, they're two going to get minutes, and then Lowell Taylor at the moment. But I don't know. I've got 0.5 in the bank, so I can actually mix things up a little bit. And the change I did make was Mendy and Gazzaniga. I've gone from that to Sanchez and Steele, which is where I picked up the 0.5 mil in the bank. Because like you said, Doc, I want to have that flexibility to make some moves early on if things ain't working out. And I realised Sanchez only got 4 points less than Mendy last season as a 4.5 mil goalie. So I thought, all right, let's switch this up a little bit. Mendy and Gazzaniga, I've switched to Sanchez and Steele. What are you saying, boys?
We'll go with Adam. Adam, what's your thoughts?
I've just been nodding along. Honestly, I really like it, and I like a lot of the justifications for it as well. I mean, I like Bailey. He's not in mine at the moment. I've got Sancho in mind. I just think that I've got Sancho almost for Grealish. I haven't got Grealish in mind, but I just United. There's just a different vibe around United, and we spoke to Pranil LR, late riser the other week, and been speaking on WhatsApp as well, and just he's so hot on United at the moment. He's excited, and you can see that in his streams as well. And so I think United are going to be they're being coached properly. That's the difference. I mean, the players are good; they always were, but they're actually being coached properly since Ten Hag's come in. I think there's an opportunity that they could pop off quite quickly and make a statement. I like the rest of it. I can't really fault it, to be honest. I'm glad you've moved off Mendy because I'm not hot on Chelsea to start with. Although I can understand the Chilwell, I'd probably rather see Perisic instead of Chilwell. That probably gives you the flexibility to move up to an 8 million just in case they do go mad, because there's loads of them there at that price point. And so any one of them could, whether it be Mount, Saka, Kulusevski, obviously Luis Diaz, because you're not tripled up on Liverpool, so you've got that opportunity to do so. Front two, no questions whatsoever, and bench is fine, obviously. So, yeah, Ash, I love it. I really like it.
Cheers, man. I wanted to have like at least one Chelsea there because they have got a really good run at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And the reason I've not tripled up on Liverpool is in the unlikely event that it doesn't go how we expect it to go. I don't want to have 3 Liverpool players invested in that because it could easily change with Liverpool. Like Diaz may not be what we expect, and Darwin may come in for him, and Firmino's still in his plans. We're hearing now. So I've tried to keep it balanced. I'm not trying to triple up anywhere. I think 2 Liverpool is nice. I think 2 City is nice, and then I've got 1 each from the rest of the top 4 of Chelsea, United, Spurs, and Arsenal. So I think I've got sufficient cover from the top 6 teams, and then a couple of little gems in there to boot. So. Yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, just say you don't need to justify it anymore to me, mate. That's fine.
Doc, any questions for Ash on his team? What's your thoughts?
I absolutely love the team. It's built nicely. I like the flexibility in it. Kane over Haaland. Probably that's the main discussion point here. So my main question to Ash would be: you mentioned that Grealish is kind of covering those Haaland points. What's the plan for game week 2 captaincy? You're captaining Salah. You're not worried about, for example, the points. Everybody will be captaining Haaland.
Game week 2. Who have Liverpool got game week 2?
Palace
Honestly,
at
mate,
home.
I've not even thought that far ahead.
I was just, as soon as he said game week 2, I was thinking he hasn't thought that far.
No chance. No, I think Salah. Is it Salah's got? Is it Palace at home?
Palace at home, yeah.
Yeah. So game week 2, Palace at home. I think Liverpool normally give Palace a thumping, don't they? So, and that'll be Liverpool's first game at home. So I'd probably captain Salah game week. I feel like, to be honest with you, Salah's probably going to be my captain most weeks, unless they're facing. Do you know what? Even if they're facing Man U, it don't really matter. He scores against Man U as well. Unless you're playing against Man City, but he scores against Man City. Salah's going to be my captain every week. There you go. How about that?
Just play it boring. Just play it boring.
There'll be opportunity at some point.
Right, we'll move on now. Is that everything, Doc? Do you want any more questions, or you?
Not at all. I absolutely love it. I like the Trippier shout. He might be the replacement for my Dyer there. But the reason I have Dyer is because I don't have a Spurs, and I'd like to watch Spurs games with at least one asset there. So, yeah, I absolutely love Trippier in there, yeah.
Awesome. Right, we'll move on to Adam's latest draft. It's on the screen right now. What's your plans, mate? What's happening?
So, from a goalkeeper's perspective, I've got Meslier. So, I expect an improved Leeds, to be quite honest. Under Marsh, I'd expect them to be better defensively. You know, statistically, Meslier was terrible at the end of last season. But he was a lot better in the season before, so I wouldn't expect a repeat. Plus, it's short term, and as 4-5 go, he'll pick up saves. Has a half decent baseline, so he can, be involved in the bonus if they do well. So that's that for Meslier. I don't really need to talk much on that. Obviously, Trent and Cancelo, fairly straightforward. Perisic in the 20 minutes that he was on the pitch against Rangers versus Sessegnon it was like night and day. Like he is going to be the highest scoring defender per 90 comfortably. Now you realize I say per 90 there because he will obviously be brought off early in games, but he will score a lot of goals. He will create a lot. We're not going to have seen a fullback, a wingback like Perisic in the Premier League before. I'm just confident that he will smash it from the start. Obviously, that's dependent on him being fit, of course. So we know that he's obviously recovering, or he's come back from an injury recently. But we'll see when they play Roma at the weekend. Pressers next week. Trippier, the Forest fixture is a target here for me. I mean, I had Zinchenko in there. So I actually did have triple Arsenal in there. I didn't think I could go on stream with a triple Arsenal, so that's why I switched it out more than anything. But yeah, Trippier could be Zinchenko, but that Forest fixture is good. Their first couple of fixtures are good. They've got Forest and Brighton. Set pieces. The positions he was taking up in pre-season. That's exactly where you want him. You want him between the edge of the box and the goal line. Making those passes inside through the gaps and, across the box, adding that to his set pieces. Newcastle have just signed in the last 7 months, they've signed 2 absolute monster centre-backs. So fully expect them to get some returns as well. But yeah, Trippier's baseline will be much higher than that of Botman and who's the other one? Dan Burn. That's
Burn.
it. Yeah. 6'7" giant. Midfield, Salah captain. Martinelli, Martinelli was Erdegaard, but I wanted 0.5 million in the bank myself. Again, to try and creep up to that 8 million if Sancho doesn't quite work. As I said already, I mean, United are being coached so much better. And that's why I've got Sancho in my midfield alongside Salah and Martinelli. Up front, Kane, Jesus. And then Martial's an interesting one. So obviously we're expecting Ronaldo not to start the season. Martial will therefore be striker for Man United. Their fixtures are decent at the start, so they've got You know, they've got Brighton, Brentford, they've got Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal, Palace, Leeds. You know, they've got Liverpool in there as well, of course, but you know, you can't have perfect fixtures all the way through. I will go back to that Project Restart lockdown, and the way I'm sort of approaching the game is that we're in these little sprints. And I remember captaining Martial for like, I think he got 2 goals and an assist or a hat trick or something mad, ridiculous. So there's, you know, as much as I like to try and be objective, little things like that creep into my mind as well. So I'm hoping that Martial starts strongly. Bench is the bench. As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to be needed. 5 subs means even if your guy doesn't start, he'll probably come on for 30, 35, could even come on for 45. And that's one thing that we don't know is we could have players just playing a half, because I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but you can't make 5 subs at 5 different points. You can still only have 3 opportunities to make subs, just like last season. So half time is like this extra opportunity to make a change, which is for free basically. So yeah, I think we'll see a few 45-minute appearances this year, which is going to be chaos. But yeah, that's where I am at the moment. I think I've got 0.5 in the bank. Pretty sure that's why I've got Martinelli in there. I'm just double checking. But yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I'll probably end up talking to Baker on Sunday, and then we end up somewhere completely different. But that's where I am right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll just talk about quickly Manchester United. It's coming from a Liverpool fan. But Sancho and Martial, the new era under Ten Hag, Ronaldo looking like he's leaving Man United. I think, honestly, it's coming from a Liverpool fan, Manchester United are going to look like a much better side this season compared to last. And I think Martial's looked impressive. He knows, you know, a B team starts against Liverpool and then Melbourne and all that. But I think Sancho and Martial could be good ones to go for. Brighton, Brentford in first 2 games. And yeah, maybe just play it. You could just play it safe with just one of them. But if you want to go for a cheeky, you know, double up on attack, nothing's stopping you. Yeah,
Perisic. One thing on the United boys before you move on to Perisic. I mean, so the thing about preseason as well is it's not necessarily just what they're doing on the pitch as well. It's the whole vibe around the club. I don't know whether you've seen on any of the socials that, you know, in years gone by, like the Martial is not really involved and all this sort of stuff. And you're seeing a lot more content of him like buzzing and being happy. And yeah, you just see the environment, the morale, the environment has just improved significantly since Ten Hag's come in. They've probably got some proper direction, which has allowed them to actually have some proper rest time rather than thinking about, well, what the hell am I going to do this weekend or whatever, and not being guided properly. So yeah, that's just another thing. I think just psychologically they're much better prepared as well for this season. I think that's just leads into good things, and we want them to do good things to score us FPL points. So
okay, Doc, what's your any questions on Adam's team?
I absolutely love the team. I love the 2 Manchester United boys there. I'm kind of scouting my own team. I support Manchester United, and I want to see how they start the season. Yes, there is an amazing vibe around the team, but historically, we've always said, okay, this is the season we're back since 2013, and we've never been really back. So, but remember, Penguin, on our video together, I shouted out Sancho as I think he's going to be the main differential, like the high scoring differential. So I really think I'm going to double up or maybe even triple up at one point with Manchester United. But one thing I noticed, again, from a Manchester United fan, there is no Manchester City attacking asset in your team, Adam.
Yeah, that's definitely a weakness. That's definitely a weakness. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how to resolve that actually at the moment. And I definitely need to revisit something, because there's a distinct, obviously, lack of flexibility in the midfield as well. There's not many places I can go with 500,000 from Sancho. I can get to Grealish quite easily. I can get to Mahrez. I can get to Foden. That's not a problem. But yeah, that's probably just the piece that's missing. And it probably means I would need to sacrifice Martial, because I don't think I'd sacrifice Kane or Jesus. But then that would mean, yeah, as you say, just have the one United player and that player being Sancho. But Martial feels fun and punty. So we'll see. Ash, but you're right. That's a weakness.
Ash, do you want to jump in? Any questions for Adam?
Yeah, man. Again, bit different to the teams I've been seeing. A few of the players, Meslier in goal is one. I mean, I personally think Leeds are going to struggle this season. I think They've lost Rafinha, their best player. They've lost Calvin Phillips, their second best player, and they've not really replaced them. I know Tyler Adams has come in, but he's no Calvin Phillips. So I'm just a little bit skeptical on Leeds. And I think there are 4.5 million goalies out there that are going to be scoring more points than Meslier. Although, Meslier might get the save points. We don't know. But I feel like Sanchez is probably a better pick. And I'd go right as far as say as Raya, maybe a better pick as well. Trent, yeah. Cancelo, yeah. Trippier, yeah. It's like looking at my defence. The Perisic one.
You see why I was nodding, right? This is why I was nodding along.
You've given me a lot to think about with Perisic because obviously I've not had much to go on other than what his performances were like at Inter Milan. And I know he got hella goals and hella assists. But I don't know how that's going to transfer to playing in the Premier League. And that's why I'm sort of going to wait and see with him. But are you a Spurs fan? Is that right, Adam?
Yeah, that's right, mate.
And he looked good, yeah. So that could be a move for me where I go Chilwell to Perisic and double up on the Spurs. But I'd like to wait and see how he gets on. But that's giving me food for thought. Salah, of course, yeah. Martinelli is one I'm a little bit funny on because I feel like he just underperforms all the time. He's got everything. He's got it all there. He's got pace. He's got directness. He's got everything that you want. Energy, that Brazilian flair, but it doesn't really transfer into a lot of goals for him. He's definitely underperformed, I think, in the last couple of seasons. He only got 6 goals last season in 29 appearances. So and obviously he's got that. He's got Smith Rowe pushing behind him as well. So I feel like he's someone that's going to be coming off a lot if he's starting games, and probably going to be coming on a lot if he's not starting games. And that for me is not an FPL player. I want someone who's going to be like nailed. Do you know what I mean? Nailed in the wall, hammer and nail in there. And Martinelli's not that for me. But again, he could go off as well. Sancho, of course, I've got. I think he's going to be a wonderful pick this season. Same strike force as me, Kane and Jesus, fantastic. And Martial has looked absolutely unstoppable in pre-season. And with Ronaldo going, the signs are good. I'm also, so yeah, I really like that pick, by the way, Martial. I think that could go off. Doc is right. Haaland, that's good. That could kill you without any attacking Man City cover. And the 3 you've mentioned are the only 3 you're going to be able to make this work with: Foden, Mahrez, or Grealish. And out of the 3, I still think Grealish is probably the most nailed. I really, really do. Because I feel like Mahrez and Foden are competing for the same position on that right side. So, yeah, I think it's 95% there, Adam, and you're good to go, my man.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Oh, and De Silva on the bench, by the way, that's a shout. 4.5 mil. I think he's going to do well for Brentford this season in Eriksen's absence. So he could be a nice little one to come off the bench.
Yeah, I was speaking to a guy on Twitter. He's Brentford fan, and he said he would sit in that Eriksen position if they didn't sign a playmaker. But and obviously he was part of that. He was part of that kind of Benrahma, Watkins, De Silva era in the Championship before they came up, and before like Watkins and Benrahma got their moves, etc. And then he got injured.
Yeah.
So he didn't do himself any favors getting sent off in like his second game back last year, and then I think and that was it. Thomas Frank just chucked him on the bench for the rest of the season. So yeah, I'm interested to see how he will fare. It's interesting actually. The 4.5 million. There's a few of them that actually have some upside. Like last year, we were looking at absolute dog 4.5 million options, weren't we? We're sitting here this season with like Andreas Pereira, brilliant, and we've got Josh De Silva, brilliant, potentially. And yeah, it just feels like there's more options at that price, which is good for later on for sure. I don't think it's needed now. I think that we're focusing quite heavily on now, but with the premiums being so expensive, that one of those 4.5s might just put their hand up and go, you know what? Yeah,
for sure.
Right, we're going to move on to my team now.
Get the buzzer out. Where's the buzzer?
There's no buzzer here, mate. No buzzer here. We're not going through that. It's my latest draft. Chris and Gabe kind of ripped it apart. But yeah, this is on the screen right now. Meslier, just like Adam, got in my team. I just have this feeling before we just talk you guys through it just quickly. We'll go on for another 10 minutes. But Meslier leaves the building. I know they lost, like I told Chris and Gabe, at that hole. Lost Rafinha, lost Calvin Phillips. I just think, even for the first 2 games, I think because they've been building well, they've brought some good replacements. Are probably not as good as Rafinha or Calvin Phillips. I'm willing to take a punt on this because I don't seem to be a fan of Raya. I don't seem to be a fan of Sanchez this season. I'm not really a fan of going for a 5 million keeper. To be honest with you, Mendy, you get hence no Chelsea there. I'm not really a fan of going for any Chelsea defensive assets, like getting on that Reece James sort of bandwagon. So Meslier is in there. Trent and Cancelo, they're a lock. They're definitely staying there. What they can do for both Liverpool and City, up there, top two, going for the title once again. Cash in there. I think that the whole were a bit 50-50 about that. They were probably saying, why don't you go for Luka Dean, takes corners. Cash is a tough one, really. Cash and Luka Dean. We'll get your thoughts in a minute, guys, on Cash and Dean, Villa assets, defensive assets in general. But yeah, it is tough on both, same price. Cash got like 4 goals, 3 assists last season, something like that, and Luka Dean got 4 assists last season. I just feel more confident going with someone like Cash, can just bomb up the field and just get those more like they get those attacking returns. Midfield wise, I was playing with the whole idea whether to. Well, this team's got nothing in the bank, by the way. Whether to have Saka, Martinelli. So I've gone for Martinelli for now. The whole 5 sub rule is going to be a pain in the arse. Salah in there, don't need to really talk about him. Then I've got Maddison, Bailey, that little gem. And then I've got Mahrez in there too. You know what Mahrez is like? Grealish probably more nailed on, but Mahrez, when he does start, he is deadly. And especially with fixtures after West Ham. He can score against West Ham as well. But I think he's really, really deadly, Mahrez, when he does start. And like you said, we were talking about earlier, sir, was it Ash? 5 sub rule comes on for 30 minutes, or was it Adam? 40 minutes, something like that. They can make an impact. Hayes and Kane up front. I'm preferring Kane. I prefer Kane over Haaland. More monster ownership for Haaland. That's why I've got Mahrez in there to try and cover if he does start. But I think Kane, I've got to have that Spurs attacker. I think Southampton, they'll really go at Southampton, and Kane takes penalties too. So I really do prefer Kane at this moment in time over Haaland. And maybe I might make the switch in game week 2, Kane to Haaland, same price. Who knows? Ward on the bench. There was talk about him probably coming number 1, with Schmeichel possibly going, highly likely leaving. Was it to Nice the other day? But
it was random, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah, a weird one. So they probably might bring in another goalkeeper. Who knows? So Williams in there. Don't comment on Patterson. I expect Everton to have another atrocious season. And then the Crystal Palace play up front. So I was playing around the idea, maybe going with this, but I would like 0.5 in the bank. So I could possibly ditch Maddison and then put him down to Andrea Pereira, something like that, and then probably bring Robbo in for upgrade Patterson to Robbo and then go for a 4-4-2 formation. And then it's all about if I want to still go with Mahrez in that 4-man midfield. We'll go straight to you guys. Adam, go on, rip it apart, mate. What's your thoughts? Any questions?
I think you need to do what you just said, like take Maddison out, put Robbo in, and swap him for Andreas Pereira. I'm just not as hot on the midfield. I guess at the moment. I mean, we've talked about. In fact, we've only not talked about. Let's double checking. Right, Salah, Maddison, Cash, and Mahrez. The rest of them we've already spoken about as picks amongst the 3 of us. So let's talk in positives. So Maddison, Leicester notoriously 1 XG per game minimum. Always seem to score from an XG as well. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They've got 1 game a week, apart from when they're doubling up in the Premier League where everybody's playing twice. So there's going to be no fatigue in that side compared to last season. We know that it's a World Cup year. Maddison's going to be trying to knock on the door. He's a weapon. His game has developed in the last couple of seasons, and he's very, very attack minded. And I think he could be very impactful this, particularly in the first half of the season. Mahrez, I think Mahrez probably benefits more if they sign Cucurella, because that will push Cancelo over to the right-hand side. And when Cancelo and Mahrez play together, there's just some weird understanding that just works, and they're just lethal as a pair. So having that double up when they're literally both on the pitch on the right-hand side together is dreamy. I mean, if I could do that, then I would. Cash. So the Cash versus Dean argument is more to do with sort of XA versus XG, because Dean is the guy he'll create, right? He's going to be the one bombing down the wing to collect the ball and create. Whereas Matt Cash has more of that Chilwell Alonso about him, and he's at the back post. He's not interested in crossing. He's interested in hitting the target. So that probably means your points are more scattered, I would say. But he can go big. We saw that last season. The problem sometimes with that is that you can't get on them at the right time. And I suffered with like Reece James last year, never getting on him at the right time. So I don't like either of the Villa fullbacks, to be honest. So it's a difficult one for me to justify. I'd probably prefer a Zinchenko or even a Trippier to start with. And did we mention at the start? I think it was Ash that was saying, like, if Jed Spence starts as well, I mean, you just want to be getting into that Tottenham back line with a 4.5 million wing back would be good. Other than that, I mean, you know, we're not. We said it at the start as well. I mean, most of the teams are going to be pretty template with a few little differences, right? So, you know, the rest of it's absolutely fine. And yeah, I don't really care about Meslier being a keeper. It's fine. I don't think you're going to get much difference by the time we all come to wildcard anyway.
Yeah, Ash, get your thoughts quick on this team. Rip it apart, Buzzer. Go on, mate.
Yeah, well, you know my thoughts on Meslier. Off the back
we're
of
not
Adam's
going
team.
to agree. We're not going to agree on that.
Yeah, look, this is a game of opinions, right? That's just what we're here to do. So that's just my personal preference. You like him, I don't like him. It's fine. It's all good. Trent Cancelo, like myself, like everybody, locked in. Cash, unlike Adam, I think is a top pick. 5 mil, fullback. He's an absolute minutes magnet. Starts every single game, and like Adam says, he's more likely to get goals. I think it was 4 goals, like you said, Carol. 4 goals, 3 assists last season. So I like the pick. Luca Dean, I feel like he's just a serial trap. Like if he was a musician, it'd be a trap artist, bro, because he traps everyone all the time, every season. You bring him in, he does nothing. And so, yeah, I think you've made the right choice in that particular 50-50 call. I love your midfield. I think it's great. Martinelli, we know our thoughts on them. Salah, Madison's an absolute. He's a baller. If he could be even better if he stopped modelling for Boohoo. He'd be absolutely unreal. And at 8 mil, I think he could go off. My only issue with Leicester is they've not strengthened. I think they're like the only club in Europe who haven't signed anyone. So I don't know. And last season wasn't great. I know they've got a lot of players coming back, especially in defence, but that's just a little caveat to that. But I think Maddison could go off. Bailey, I've got Mahrez. Again, no Haaland. You're going to want that Man City attacking cover. And this is where the 5 subs comes in nicely because, like you said, Adam, and I think you mentioned Cal as well, if Mahrez doesn't start, he could start the second half and score a hat-trick. Do you know what I mean? Because he's in that sort of team. Yeah. So you don't really mind that with Mahrez with this new 5 sub rule. I do, and the strike force I've got the same. So I can't see past Kane and Jesus for me to start a season if you're going to go 2 up top. The only thing I think you're missing is a bit of Man United cover, because we've talked about Man United quite a bit and the changes that they've made and how they could be coming into the season as a real team and could be quite explosive. If anything, maybe you could bring in a Rashford for a Martinelli because you've already got the Arsenal cover in Jesus, and then either downgrade Maddison to I don't know, a 7 mil or Mahrez to a Grealish or something like that. So yeah, that'd be my only suggestions. But other than that, mate, I think it's really, really good. It's definitely better than the last 2 drafts that you sent into the show. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Just say hello to Nick as well, part of FPO Juice, Ash's partner in crime.
Man like Nick, big up Nick.
You're doing good, mate. Doc, just quickly get your thoughts quickly on this latest draft of mine, what the lads have said. What's your thoughts?
The lads covered it absolutely perfectly. I don't think I can add anything. Regarding Cash or Dean, I absolutely agree with Ash. He's an absolute trap. I hate having him in my team, and somehow he makes it always. There will be a double this season, and all of a sudden Dean is in my team. So it's an absolute frustrating own. I had Cash during all his holes last season, and funnily, those 2 kind of connected me with 2 of our guests on the channel. I suggested Dean in the beginning of the season to Big Man Bakar, and after that we started talking, and he came on the channel, and we had him as a guest. The same with Cash, we had Reeve on the channel, and we had them both in our team, and we got his holes when nobody had him. He was like under 10% effective ownership. So I absolutely love Cash. However, I watched him very closely last season. He did get quite lucky with his goals. Like he was taking shots from 30 yards out and they were banging in. So he has this confidence. Gerard had this effect on Tavernier with Rangers. So I think the right back kind of plays a tactical role more than the left back with Gerard. So I think Cash is the better shot than Dean, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Well, it's just me. We'll probably just wrap things up. Just in a minute. I just want to get Adam's thoughts just quickly. Just another 5 minutes of your time. It'd be great, guys. But thank you so much for being on, Ash, Adam, Doc. Really appreciate it. Just quickly, because I want to talk about Spurs. Just quickly get Adam's thoughts. Tell me about Spurs. You were talking about them earlier. Do you want to get more of your thoughts out? Gamer coming out. Do you think Perisic would be assigned for any set pieces? Anything like that? What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, so I think it's clear the way we're going to play, right? We're going to play with 3 at the back with the 2 wing backs, the 2 in the pivot, which is going to be, depending on, it'll be Højbjerg or Bentancur, probably with Basuma. And then you'll have, I'm hoping Doherty starts on the right with Perisic on the left for the start of the season. I think the fans are pretty hot on Doherty. We like him at the moment, the way he was in the middle of last season. The rumours that we might be selling him, I'm not really sure. But from an FPL perspective, it's really difficult with Kane and Son this year because we want them and we know what they're going to do, right? We know what they do every single season. But they're priced at a point that's really, really awkward. The way we'll play is we'll play, a fast pace. Well, the way we play is like a fast-paced build up from the back after soaking up a little bit of pressure. And then what we're looking to do is we're looking to create high XG chances, as many of those as possible. Now we don't need many of those, in order to execute whatever plan Conte has, whether that be score 2, then sit back or whatever it is. So, but expect Perisic to be heavily involved in everything, to be quite honest. He can run with the ball. He can cross both-footed. He can obviously shoot. He was on the pitch for 2 minutes against Rangers and he tried a bicycle kick from like 7 or 8 yards out. Keeper had to tip it over the bar. So almost scored his first goal. He's excellent on set pieces, loves a near post corner. So look out for Son linking up with him there. He could also take corners, but I think he'll be more effective in the box as well. I therefore expect us to be, we won't be in the City mold where we're spending most of our time up top. So I'm not sure how that will impact the number of clean sheets that we keep because, we won't dominate the field the way you would expect us to. How can I word it? We won't dominate the field the way you would expect a team that I would expect to win more games than they lose, if that makes sense. So City dominate the ball, they dominate the field, they spend a lot of the time up in the final third. Liverpool the same, although they're a bit more direct. Tottenham will probably spend most of their time in the middle third, and then soaking up some pressure, and then hitting teams hard on counter with overloads. You see that Kane dropping in, Kulusevski and Son are just on their bikes, and they're finding space. I think it's going to be an interesting season this season because Arsenal have improved considerably. United look like they're going to improve through coaching. City improved definitely with Haaland. Liverpool, I think, have improved slightly. I don't think it's as significant as some of the others, and I think Chelsea, I'm not really sure on at the moment. So, I think from an FPL perspective, I mean, again, Kane and Sonny are reliable ones. Perisic is your fun one. I don't expect as much from Kulusevski compared to the half season we saw with him, but that's kind of where I am with it.
Awesome. Right, we'll wrap things up there now, guys. But thank you for everyone that's tuned in this evening. Big thank you once again to Ash, Adam, and Doc. Links to their channels in the description. Check them out. Been great having you guys on. Thank you so much for taking the time coming on. And also just want to let everyone know as well, I'm good pals with these guys. They're called the FPL Duo, Huss and Jordan. They're doing a live stream very, very soon in about 5 minutes. So do check him out, rating all your drafts. Give him some support. Tell him Penguin sent you. But yeah, guys, Ash, Adam, Doc, thank you so much. Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks so much, mate.
Enjoyed
Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the
Hit like.
channel.
Hit like.
Hit the like button.